Good afternoon. We're in the matrix. Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Stacy Willis, and I'm the Dean and Program Director of the Occupational Therapy Programs here at West Coast University. I would like to welcome you all to the 14th hooding ceremony for our department. The hooding ceremony is an honored event for the university. This is an unconventional way of us conducting this ceremony as we are still in the midst of a pandemic. Nonetheless, I am happy that we are all able to take a hybrid approach to this ceremony. For all of you that are live streaming, welcome. To the graduates, faculty, and associates with us today, welcome. It's so good to see each of you and to celebrate this momentous occasion with the MSOT 2021 graduates. Graduates known as the Teal Cohort, you are a part of our rich and history and legacy. You have certainly made your mark, not only within the walls of this institution, but also in the real world through your display of professionalism and demonstration of knowledge and skills as evidenced by the excellent fieldwork feedback and grades. You achieved all that while being in the midst of a global pandemic. When you joined us, this West Coast University family, you were in the program 10 weeks before the pandemic changed our lives forever. Despite that, you persevered and you accomplished all of your goals. Family, loved ones, and friends that are watching us here today, we recognize and applaud you also for the enormous role that you have played and the sacrifices that you have made to enable our graduates to participate here today. To our exceptional occupational therapy faculty and administrative staff present here today, we salute and appreciate you. A big part of the successes that we are celebrating is based on your effective teamwork and extraordinary knowledge of these passionate and skilled individuals. Thank you so much. Members of the Teal Cohort, welcome to the Occupational Therapy. We can and no longer will refer to you as students, but as colleagues. Yay. Congratulations. Let's give them all a round of applause. We will now watch a video montage of the Teal Cohort's time here at West Coast University. I've already viewed it and a little jelly that I wasn't invited to anything, but that's okay. Let's take a moment and look at their time here. All right, moving on along. I would like to now welcome to the podium our keynote speaker. Dr. Bill Wong is an adjunct faculty at Stanbridge University for its OTA and MSOT programs. He obtained his master's degree and doctorate degree from the University of Southern California in 2011 and 2013, respectively. He is the only student or practitioner to speak at more than one TED Talk event. Dr. Wong recently completed his first term as California Representative number 2 in the Representative Assembly. Although he works primarily in a skilled nursing facility, Dr. Wong is collaborating with OT researchers at Western Sydney University, primarily focusing on autistic individuals in middle and older adulthood. Dr. Wong also remains an active member in the TEDx organizers community. Please join me to welcome me to the stage, Dr. Bill Wong.
Testing. Gotta do that. All right, so thank you West Coast University for the invitation. As a frequent visitor of this program since its inception, it is quite amazing to see how this program evolved. And of course, for a speech like this, I gotta dedicate my speech to one of my late mentors, Terry Olivas de la O. So she passed away almost 8 years ago, and she was an occupational therapy assistant, but she actually played a very big role in my career. Before you wake up today, you are all students. But after this ceremony today, you are one major step closer to be occupational therapists. The fact that I come to speak to you all today made me think, if I were to go back in time, what would I say to myself 10 years ago? I had an epiphany of sorts in the last few weeks. In a year with many highs, I also had some lows. Recently, I had enough with camouflaging, or what autistic folks call masking. For those of you who don't know what that is, it is something some folks do in terms of putting their best social behaviors so that they can more easily blend in socially with their peers or act competently in social situations. For me, that is 24/7, 365, because of who I am in the occupational therapy profession. I felt that it was too high a price to pay for my abilities to stay involved in AOTA. After all, I have been placing myself in situations with higher social standards and demands with my clinical or academia jobs for 4 years and counting now, from my time in the Representative Assembly and now my time in the Volunteer Leadership Development Committee in AOTA. My fear of making costly social blunders associated with these roles is like some patients we work with who develop some fears of falling after they fell previously. Of course, the fact that I'm one of the most socially connected OT folks out there on social media made me extremely vulnerable to social traps. It was then I made a reflection of what I've done since I became an OTR 10 years ago. I also came across an Alanis Morissette song called Thank You, and then subsequently read is behind the song Facts. I was blown away. On one hand, I have achieved some amazing highs. On the other hand, there was a point where I doubted my abilities as an occupational therapist. I asked myself, what were the costs of my professional success? Am I paying too much? In this context, I'm not talking about just financial. Instead, I'm talking about social, emotional, time, and energy costs. Some people call them spoons in the context of spoon theory. Out of 45 on ground and several more virtual OT conferences I've been to my career, I present at least half of them. And 80 to 85% of the time, I present on autism. I've done my share of guest lecturing, including here, to programs across the globe. I share my posts on Facebook and Twitter from my perspective as an autistic occupational therapist. Slowly but surely, I've gotten some publishing and research opportunities in the last couple years. In the process, I made myself vulnerable because I share my stories and or perspectives over and over. Unless I got questions beyond my abilities or knowledge to answer, I will answer questions coming my way. When I made that reflection, It is almost like I made myself naked over and over again, showing my scars and hope that to spark changes and making impact for the autistic community eventually. However, then I also thought, when I made some OT history back then in 2017, as being on stage on TEDx for the second time, I kept on having OT folks ask me, what are you gonna do next? At that time, I was not even at the 5-year mark as an OTR. Building on that hard, probably for at least 30 to 35 years, consistently can be quite exhausting. Coincidentally, I also came across a TEDx talk from TEDx Lumberg called Career Planning Under Uncertainties. During the talk, I learned a term called control backsliding. According to the speaker, control backsliding is slowing down by choice when you think you need respite. This applies to our careers, because you might start your families, move out of states, have kiddos, changes in priorities. Of course, we can't be farther than either, right? Health issues can emerge, physical, mental, and all social emotional. It was then I realized I'm a maverick. Some may think I'm acting irrational by throwing potential leadership opportunities away while I'm seemingly in my prime on the fact that I'm such an upward professional trajectory. Some may wonder why I'm not making a natural progression to other high leverage roles in AOTA. But I'd like to use my talents and intangibles in other ways. I also want to own my professional trajectory. I've been relying on my mentor's input and insights because I wasn't too sure what I should be engaged in professionally, even though I'm a self-directed person in my goal setting. I've become disenchanted about OT politics. As a member of the RA and now the BLDC, there will be always noise around these groups about what these groups have done, are considered doing, or have still not done on Facebook or Twitter. I mean, I know very well that I can't please everyone and tried the best I could on making constructive suggestions when appropriate. But because I'm so vibrant on social media, I'm getting tired of clearing up misconceptions on social media about these committees. Meanwhile, since COVID, I've decided to step up a few notches in organizing TEDx events. I went from pretty much walking away to committing organizing 3 virtual events with speakers per year. I have refined my organizing strategies to a point that I'm spending relatively minimal time and money. I'm able to create structures where OT politics are not allowed. Even though I put at least double or triple the work than my AOTA roles per year, I'm much happier. It's because while I found my just right challenge, it also allowed me to use every tool I possess as an OT leader. So, what did I learn in these past 10 years that I can pass on to you? I have several take-home points. One is, once you no longer need to shoulder student loan debt, I know most of you have, go for different types of opportunities that might interest you. Expand your horizons of knowledge as occupational therapists. That will help you know your role and place in the profession. This is pretty similar to another advice you hear about the fact that it's not a bad idea to try different settings within your first 5 years. The more you try and experience, the quicker you realize what are for you and what aren't. Look at it another way. Many of you probably have dated, right? It takes time and experience to know the qualities you're looking for in potential romantic partners. Similarly, in your professional lives, you will eventually know what types of opportunities you should or shouldn't go for. Second, every decision will have long or short-term consequences. So I highly suggest you map out what you want to do for your career before you get disenchanted by the realities you see as a clinician. Since I started OT school, I had my eyes set on achieving FAOTA, which is short for the Fellow of AOTA someday. For those of you who don't know what it is essentially like being a Hall of Fame occupational therapist. Yeah, it's true, because I'm on the vetting side of things, so I don't really know who gets in and who doesn't. So my educated guess at that time was that it probably would require an extensive amount of hard work and sacrifices, which turned out to be true. So once I was able to make ends meet and settle down on setting I wanted to work in, I evaluate every potential opportunity, big or small. I tend to focus on long-term prospects and consequences because I want to know whether such opportunity will get me closer to that goal. I know, because I also teach leadership and management class at Stanford, so I actually talk to my students on Tuesday. So for me personally, I put my career goals in 4 compartments, like within 1 year, 1 to 5 years, 5 to 15 years, and even 15 plus years. These goals will be monitored towards at the end of every year, but I will also add or remove goals when necessary. I also think about international conferences I would attend 4 years in advance. I know some of you may say, you're still on the younger side of your career. Why are you doing this? My why? If you're successful and people know about it, you'll get loads of opportunities and you sometimes don't know what to decide. For the last few years, I had to play Tetris in a variety of ways. Obviously, these opportunities cost time and money. And then I also got to make sure I don't kill myself schedule-wise. Finally, I have to evaluate which opportunity to say yes to. Also, if I don't plan that far ahead, I don't think I will know I have room for unexpected opportunities during each present year, such as today. So a good example of this year would be, I was told that I would be doing the Florida OT Association keynote in August. I was actually already very busy because I knew I had at least 2 OT conference presentations, 1 other keynote, and then 3 TEDx events to plan, coordinate, and execute. Then I also had to compile my annual portfolio for my job at Stanford. Finally, I also knew it wouldn't be too much time after I would be finished vetting folks for AOTA awards, during my role in the VLDC, of course. So I was initially torn whether to add this onto my schedule, but I chose to do it anyway because it is an opportunity I should not refuse under most circumstances. Also, I made the opportunity possible because of advanced planning, for sure. And then another example. The thought of organizing 3 virtual TEDx events with speakers by myself, for the most part, is very overwhelming. Then I realized I got to execute the 3 event formats I chose within a 3-month period. So actually I did it in September, I did it in November, I just finished one last Saturday. And my OT friends have been telling me, really, Bill? You can execute them all with pretty much with no help? What are you trying to prove to us? I just said, well, just wait and I'll deliver when it's time. I have just pulled off the 3rd of 3 TEDx events last Saturday. I got some OT academics say to me, man, you set a very high gold standard for the rest of us on this front. How can you be so on top of it? I just said, part of it was because I've learned from my past mistakes. I laid plans for it since the beginning of the year. I know the ballpark times on when I can hold these events. Keeping things in-house allowed me to work in my flow. Part of it was I believe in myself. I know what to expect from the speaker's perspective because I was the speaker once before, or twice before. Learning how to edit videos should not be too hard for me. On top of the preparations I have made beforehand, I know what I want based on what I can afford. All in all, it was pretty much textbook application from what I learned from OT school from community development. The response I got back was, no wonder you're advocating hard for making this a sustainable OTT capstone for our students. No wonder you're challenging us to take up these licenses if our university don't have a history of doing this. Now that you're doing such on a shoestring budget and in such a limited time frame, we need to figure out how you do it instead of just being cheerleaders for your accomplishments. As time went on, what you need from your mentors will also evolve. In the early going, your mentors should help you understand what you're going to be in for and provide advice accordingly. They also may empower you to go for certain opportunities. As time goes on, you need to start owning your professional trajectory. Your mentors may only be there for you, but you truly need help. In the early goings of my career, I asked my mentors to provide me information and guidance on the opportunities I might be interested in. After all, I still was learning about how AOTA works, and we knew there was not too much harm in giving these opportunities a shot. However, as I began to know my strengths and weaknesses, as well as my preferences, my mentors just accept that my choices, as long as I could provide strong rationale. For example, all my mentors are aware of my involvement as a TEDx organizer by now. I don't need to turn them for advice in this department because I know they very well tell me, well, you're the expert amongst us. You know the avenues to solve these problems. Another example would be international conference attendance. My mentors just tell me, your approach is already great in terms of you got a representative sample of what each of these conferences are all about. You also are proactive in addressing your weaknesses of your CV. Finally, you know yourself as someone who learns by doing. If you treat this issue as an awesome problem to have, you seriously don't need us too much. On the other hand, although I studied my share of statistics in undergrad and research courses during my master's in LTD, finding my footing in research was not easy. Fortunately, one of my mentors, Barbara Kronblau, she is a queen of qualitative research and has extensive experiences in publishing peer-reviewed journal articles. Recently, I asked her to help to mentor my thesis group students on putting their thesis findings into peer-reviewed journal manuscripts. Next point I want to make is it's okay to be different. I went to my share of international conferences since 2015. This is still probably not very common for practitioners with less than 10 years of experience. I mean, some would go to an occasional World Federation of OT conference or another international conference here and there. For me, I went to 2 every year from 2016 to 2019. When people ask me why, I explained, academia is my ultimate goal. I want to be a well-rounded faculty to provide students insight on what the greater OT world has to offer. Also, I was trying to see which country or countries are the most receptive to my autism work. Although I don't have much research under my name yet, I want to have my names on some. So it is important for me to search far and wide before I settle down. So in 2019, I began to have dialogue with Dr. Caroline Mills from Western Sydney University about research. We initially talked about collaborating with her colleagues from Australia. However, when I became the MSOT program in 2020 at Stanbridge, I pounced on the opportunity when I realized I could be a thesis advisor. So I returned the favor by brainstorming with Dr. Mills on what we can do together. And this, which led me to meet Dr. Christy Coxon. This surely wouldn't have happened if I didn't go to the World Federation of OT conference in Japan in 2014, and then the OT Australia conferences in 2017 and 2019. Meanwhile, I also made another connection with Kitty Rose Foley, another Australian OT researcher. I met her at the same OT Australia conferences. Because I developed a profile in the profession already, I became an attractive candidate target for partnership. So we are in the process of helping her grad project in Australia to get off the ground. However, I also now gain a potential pipeline in another US-Australian collaboration opportunity for my thesis groups at Stanbridge. When I went to Stanbridge hooding ceremony recently, some faculty were blown away by my willingness to make such ventures for my first thesis group, and my capability to facilitate a different opportunity for students down the road. I have 2 more points and then a conclusion. So, digging deep at appropriate times. I bring a sports mentality when I approach leadership. If you are into sports at all, you will notice that elite athletes are more likely to come up clutch when their teams or situations they are in for to call for them to step up. Oftentimes they do it when the pressure is the greatest and or they're physically tired. When I set out to organize 3 TEDx events this year with my own speakers on a shoestring budget with minimal help, majority of my OT student peers thought I was bluffing. They told me, "You're gonna kill yourself. You're doing virtually everything?" I said, in sports, superstars show leadership by leading by example. In basketball, this means playing defense and making hustle plays. In baseball, this means running hard until you're called out. In football, this means not giving up on the play until the whistle blows. In OT, you will see opportunities to get involved in AOTA or state level, whichever state you live in. Give some of these roles a try. You may like to get involved in more, or you may realize that some are not for you. If you want to have some company, try to apply together with some friends or two. That way, you get your friends back and make some memories together. Also, if you accomplish major success professionally, I'm sure your professors will be proud of you, right? And then let's see, that's the most favorite advice I would give to people. Treat your career as an ongoing transition plan, which you probably have heard in your classes. You never know what your life or your career will throw at you. However, it is also very easy to have tunnel vision on the present. Recently, I had a couple of former classmates with inklings about getting into academia. I then suggested to them to find opportunities to guest lecture if they really like teaching. But they told me they don't know where to look for these opportunities. Seeing something like this sort of emphasize the need to prepare for your future. This means finding a mentor or mentoring team who can maximize your professional potential. This means taking time to build a robust network to weather storms that are coming your way. And then let's see, I forgot, I miscounted. I have one more point to make, and then in conclusion. If you have a chance to have an intimate conversation with a legend in the field, by that I don't just mean a quick catch up on how things been. I actually means having the opportunity to make deep conversations. Take advantage of the opportunity. For example, when I was at the 2018 World Federation of OT conference, I got a chance to have a deep conversation with then the World Federation of OT president at the time, Marilyn Pedersen, during its conference dinner. Because she had been aware of me for several years leading up to this, she gave me wisdom and insights about being a leader in OT, leadership trajectory progression, and secrets to longevity in leadership. Of course, there's also a viral photo of me and Michael Iwama having dim sum here in LA a few years earlier. One thing Michael told me was that I shouldn't be a one-trick pony in OT. Well, when he comes to know that I'm a globally connected TEDx organizer, I will just jab at him and say, this is not a bad second trick, eh? Sure, I'm not a gentle giant like Michael. I don't think many men can be, in OT can be. So I think he's such a replaceable figure in OT. But his foresight of telling me to find additional specialties is invaluable. I mean, who else in OT academia would dare to use the TEDx talks he or she curated as material for OT classrooms? There certainly is nobody, but I'm doing it this time for this semester for my students. In closing, if we are telling our clients to live their lives to their fullest, you all should try to enjoy this career to its fullest. People around you will give you suggestions on what that might look like for you. However, you are ultimately the one who knows what this looks like. Of course, there's nothing wrong with mixing business with pleasure too. For example, if you find out a conference destination at a place that you really want to go badly, or on your bucket list per se, make every effort to go and then stay a few days extra so that you can enjoy yourself for self-care, right? Yeah. And then also, another thing we do in OT is to encourage our patients to take some calculated risk. This is also a good advice for your career as occupational therapists. If you find your role and place in this profession, I'm sure your faculty will be proud of you for finding that. Thank you.
Let's give them another round of applause. Thank you, Dr. Wong. That was very, very inspirational. Thank you for being here with us today. Now, for the moment we've all been waiting for, it's time to hood these students. Alrighty. A hooding ceremony is a recognition. It's a ceremony signifying the student's success in completing a graduate program. It recognizes the accomplishments of students who have earned an advanced degree beyond the bachelor's in a more personal way than is permitted at our university's general commencement. Thus, placing the hood on the student is a symbol of passage from student to master. The hooding ceremony is in addition to and does not replace the university's graduate commencement, which was held this past Sunday. Brianna Ireland, Claudia, Rosalinda, and Faith. It was great to see you all there. We will now begin this portion of our ceremony virtually and watch the hooding of those that couldn't be with us today but are at home with their families. We will then transition to our live hoodings for those that are in person. As your name is called, and Lisa's gonna help us organize this, we would like for you to step onto the stage. You will be hooded, you will receive your certificate, and then you can take your seat. Alrighty, I will now welcome to the stage Dr. Elise Lezerovich, who's going to do the reading of the names. Congratulations, guys. Okay. Virtual. Okay. So first we have Amanda Concourse. Reba Toha. Okay, and now for our live participants. First one, Alina Bunarjian. Yes. One more time. Alina Bunarjian. Margaret Abwan. Those curls right.
Big smiles. Perfect.
Anissa Balcazar.
Big smiles. 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Brooke Denton.
Jezreen Joyce Garcia. Okay. That works out.
Do you want to put your hair out of your head?
Good call.
Big smiles, 1, 2, 3.
Joanna Godinez. Clarissa Hernandez. Your shoes are so cute. It's all playing our games. Cynthia Hom. Lilith Hovanesian.
Flip your purple sash on your right.
Flip that side.
Flip
The sash.
Really is so professional.
I tried.
Yuquan Hu. Emma Isaacson.
Sorry, your butt.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Alexandra Krupp. Victoria Mara Segan.
Yeah, big, big.
Pull your hair off your head. A lot of hair to handle. You got it.
Ireland McKean.
Got a lasting tap going on over there.
Irene Zita Mendoza.
Get that tassel.
Perjui Judy Magdessian. Brennan Newberry.
Also, no one told me I need to bedazzle my shoes. You know what I mean? Okay. Good. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Oh yeah, you got me? All right. Thank you, Dr. L. Come on. There we go. Lisa.
Claudia Perez.
16 years, guys. 16 years. A girl from Watts can do it. Anybody can do it. I know, me too. I cheered up. Compton's in the house. You're good? For all my people. We love you. We love you.
Kimberly Quijano. Alberto Rojas Jr.
Exactly. You may rise.
Okay. Am I good?
Okay, Shyla Salalima.
Thank you.
Faith Uwe. but not least, Christine.
Let's give our graduates another round of applause. Okay, now it's time to present some awards. Surprise! So if your name is called, I would like for you to step up to the stage. We're going to get a photo, and your awards will be FedExed. You know how shipping is around this time. It's the holidays, it's COVID. Yeah, so we appreciate all of our FedEx workers. Thank you. Okay. At this time, I will now present the MSOT Award for Academic Achievement. The Academic Achievement Award is given to the student with the highest overall GPA. The person receiving this award has completed their studies with a 3.92. Some comments about this graduate include that they are diligent, that they are dedicated, they are impressed by your attention to detail and the time that you spend perfecting labs, assignments, and exams. You work well under pressure. They are impressed with your knowledge, skill. You are a well-rounded individual. Please join me in congratulating, drum roll, Melrose Young. Next up is the Founding Dean's Award. Okay? This award is given to the graduating student whose characteristics most support the OT program's mission statement. They are chosen by a combined vote of their fellow classmates and the program faculty, and per the following criteria. Bear with me. Professionalism. They demonstrate the ability to act as a member of a healthcare team and be involved in the advancements of OT. Clinical reasoning. They apply logic and critical thinking skills for improvement of a patient's welfare. Ethical standards. They demonstrate appropriate principles and values and a commitment to continued professional growth. Responsibility. They're dependable and assume responsibility for their own actions. They're initiative. They're resourceful and self-directed. And lastly, constructive skills. They maintain a positive attitude and demonstrate creative qualities. Some comments about this individual are, they have a unique ability to collaborate very well with peers. This person is a leader. They care about being a productive member of society while making an outstanding occupational therapist in all rights. They are smart, responsible, kind, empathetic, patient, genuine. Wow. They will help others heal. Has a desire to understand the whole picture of their clients. They are professional and their positive attitude is greatly appreciated. The Founding Dean's Award for Outstanding MSO Student per the majority vote of fellow students and faculty goes to, drum roll, Irene Mendoza. time, I would like to acknowledge our graduates that are graduating with honors. The university recognizes academic honors and distinctions for the following 2 categories: University Highest Honors and University Honors. University Highest Honors, ooh, this is a tongue twister. University Highest Honors is the top 3% of the graduating class with a cumulative GPA above a 3.75. I think you already know who this is. This year's recipient of University's Highest Honors is, get ready to come back up here, young lady, Melrose Yancey. University Honors is the top 10% of the graduating class with a cumulative GPA above a 3.75, and we have 2 graduates. All right. The first recipient of University Honors is, drum roll, Christine Yee. Our second recipient of University Honors, get ready to come back up here, is Irene Mendoza. This is for you, Dad. Oh, yeah. I love it. All right, in closing, are we ready for our Panera bread? Because we got some Panera back there. It smells great. Thanks, Sherry. All right, in closing, we know that you will be very successful in the profession as advocates, leaders, and lifelong learners. We salute you and thank you for trusting West Coast University to make you the best OTs that we could hope that you could be. Teal cohort, your genius has no bounds. Remember that success is knowing your purpose in life, growing to your maximum potential, and sowing the seeds that benefit others. Thank you for being here with us today. Stay safe and happy holidays to you and your family. Okay, we will do a group photo outside. Yeah.